Every morning, life deposits 24 hours into your account. No more, no less. You cannot borrow from tomorrow, and you cannot save today for later. The seconds tick away whether you pay attention or not, and when they are gone forever. Time is the one resource that makes us all equal, yet it is also the one most recklessly wasted. We spend years chasing money, possessions, and status, forgetting that none of these can be enjoyed without time. You can lose money and earn it back, but you can never lose time and get it back. Every hour is a seed, and how you plant it determines the harvest of your life. Some use their hours to grow purpose, impact, and joy. Others let their hours slip through their fingers, wondering later where it all went. This book is not about time management in the traditional sense. It is about time investment. It is about learning where to put your hours so they multiply into meaning instead of disappearing into regret. Each chapter will guide you to see time as your greatest currency, teaching you how to spend it wisely on your growth, your priorities, your habits, your relationships, and your legacy. If you've ever felt that days are rushing past, that you're busy but not fulfilled, that life is moving but meaning is missing, this book is for you. It will challenge you to pause, reflect, and redirect your hours before they vanish. Because at the end of your life, the measure of success will not be how much you owned, but how well you lived. And that depends entirely on how you invested your time. Chapter 1. The True Value of Time. Time is the most democratic gift ever given to humanity. No matter where you were born, what your status is, or how much money you hold in your bank account, you and I wake up every day with the exact same 24 hours. Kings do not get 26, and beggars do not get 20. Yet, what separates successful people from those who remain stagnant is not the amount of time they have, but how they choose to invest it. The truth is simple, yet powerful. Your future is hidden in the way you spend your present moments. Many people treat time as though it were endless, like an ocean that will never dry. But time is not an infinite resource. It is more like sand slipping through our fingers. Once it falls, there is no way to gather it back. You can recover money lost in a bad business deal, rebuild a career after failure, and even repair broken relationships. But no power in the world, no invention, no wealth can buy you back yesterday. Every second that passes is gone forever, making time the single most precious asset in life. Think of money for a moment. If you spend recklessly, you might regret it, but you can always earn again. Time doesn't work like that. Imagine if life were a bank that deposits 86,400 seconds into your account every morning. By midnight, the balance disappears whether you used it wisely or wasted it. No carryover, no refunds. This is exactly how life works. You are credited with a fresh account of time every day, and what you do with it determines the compound interest your future will pay. When we look back at our lives, the moments that matter most are often not tied to money or material possessions. They are tied to how we chose to use our hours. The time you gave to learning a new skill, the hours spent caring for your health, the afternoons dedicated to nurturing a friendship, the evenings spent working toward a dream, all of these investments grow into priceless returns. On the other hand, hours wasted scrolling endlessly through social media, procrastinating tasks, or engaging in meaningless distractions vanish like smoke, leaving nothing but regret. History offers countless reminders of the power of time. Great leaders, scientists, and thinkers were not born with extra hours. They simply valued every moment differently. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time, for that's the stuff life is made of." He understood that time is the very fabric of existence. The world's most celebrated minds, from inventors to artists, have all guarded their hours fiercely, knowing that each moment wasted is a moment stolen from their legacy. Take a look at successful entrepreneurs and athletes. They rise early, not because the morning sun has magical powers, but because they refuse to let their hours slip into idleness. While others hit snooze, they hit opportunity. Every workout, every page read, every meeting attended with focus compounds over years into extraordinary success. Success is rarely a matter of luck. It is often a reflection of how consistently one has honored their time. Now contrast this with how the average person spends their days. Many live as though they have unlimited tomorrows. They delay dreams saying, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'll try when the time is right." But the time is never right. Life is always happening now. Those who postpone endlessly wake up one day only to realize that the tomorrows they were waiting for have quietly turned into yesterdays. The tragedy is not that life is short, but that we waste so much of the little we have. Time also tests priorities. Consider the difference between urgent and important. Urgent tasks scream for attention, but important ones often whisper. Checking notifications, rushing to meetings, or reacting to constant demands may feel productive, but are they truly aligned with your deeper goals? Investing your time wisely means learning to distinguish between noise and necessity. It is about saying no to distractions so you can say yes to the things that build your future. Let's take health as an example. Spending an hour every day exercising may seem like a small investment, but over a decade, it adds up to thousands of hours invested in strength, energy, and longevity. Conversely, skipping those hours for years leads to weakness, fatigue, and regret. Time magnifies the consequences of our choices. Whatever you consistently invest in, whether growth or neglect, will eventually yield results, good or bad. Relationships tell the same story. The time you dedicate to loved ones creates bonds that money cannot buy. A conversation with a child, a dinner with parents, or a few hours listening to a friend's struggles may seem small, but they build trust, love, and memories that last a lifetime. Neglecting those moments, however, often leads to broken ties that no amount of wealth can repair. In the end, people rarely regret working less, but they often regret not spending enough time with the ones who mattered. Here's the powerful truth. Time is not just something you spend, it is something you invest. Every choice you make is like planting a seed. Spend your evenings watching meaningless shows, and you are planting seeds of stagnation. Spend those same evenings learning, creating, or connecting, and you plant seeds of growth. The harvest you reap tomorrow depends on the seeds you sow with your time today. Think about this. If you truly understood that you only had a limited number of days left, how differently would you live? Would you waste hours on arguments, distractions, and procrastination? Or would you pour yourself into what truly matters, your dreams, your relationships, your health, your purpose? The awareness of mortality is not meant to scare us, but to awaken us. When you realize that life is finite, you begin to live fully. One of the most liberating decisions you can make is to stop saying, "I don't have time." The truth is, you have as much time as the most successful people in the world. What you really mean is, "This is not my priority." Once you own that, you gain power. If building your dream is a priority, you will find the hours. If becoming healthier is a priority, you will create the time. It's not about having time, it's about making time. Imagine your life a year from now. If you continue investing your hours the same way you are today, where will you be? Will you be further along in your career, healthier, wiser, and more fulfilled? Or will you be in the exact same place, still talking about what you wished you had done? The future is not built in the future. It is built right now, moment by moment, choice by choice. So let this be a call to action. Guard your hours like treasure. Treat your minutes as investments, not disposable coins. Start each day with intention, asking yourself, where can I place my time today that will bring the greatest return tomorrow? Whether it's learning, creating, exercising, connecting, or simply resting with purpose, make sure your hours work for you, not against you. Remember, time is not just passing, it is shaping you. The person you become 5 years from now will be a direct result of how you invest the hours in front of you today. Do not trade your life's most precious asset for temporary pleasures or meaningless distractions. Instead, invest it wisely, and you will live a life that is not only successful, but significant. Your legacy will not be measured by the wealth you accumulate, but how wisely you invested your time. Did you waste it on trivialities, or did you use it to build, love, and inspire? The answer lies not in some distant future, but in the choices you make right now. Every second is a chance to start anew, to redirect your life, to choose wisely. The true value of time is not in counting the hours, but in making the hours count. Chapter 2. Choosing what really matters. Life is full of noise. Every day, countless voices compete for your attention. Notifications, deadlines, opinions, advertisements, responsibilities. It feels as though the world is designed to keep you distracted. Yet beneath all the noise lies a quiet truth. You cannot do everything. The difference between a life of impact and a life of regret is the ability to choose what truly matters and invest your time there. We live in an age of abundance, information at our fingertips, endless opportunities, and limitless choices. But abundance can be both a blessing and a curse. When everything looks important, nothing actually is. The mind becomes overwhelmed, and we end up scattering our energy on tasks that bring little value. The danger is not that we run out of time, but that we waste it on things that never really mattered. Distractions are seductive because they feel urgent. A buzzing phone demands immediate attention, even if the message is trivial. A sudden request from a colleague feels pressing, though it adds no real value to your goals. We rush to respond to the urgent, but in doing so, we sacrifice the important. Over time, this pattern creates lives filled with busyness, but devoid of meaning. Productivity without purpose is just noise. To choose what really matters, you must first ask yourself, what do I truly want from life? This is not about what others expect from you, nor about what society tells you to pursue. It is about your deepest values, the things that give you energy rather than drain it, the dreams that refuse to let go of you. Without clarity, you become like a sailor without a compass, sailing fast but toward nowhere. Clarity begins with reflection. Take a step back from your daily rush and examine your life honestly. Are you spending your hours building the life you want, or are you merely reacting to circumstances? Too many people confuse activity with progress. Running hard on a treadmill may exhaust you, but it does not move you forward. In the same way, working endlessly without direction only burns energy while leaving you stuck in place. Think of the 80-20 principle, also known as the Pareto principle. 20% of your activities generate 80% of your results. But here's the catch. Most people spend their time trapped in the unproductive 80%. They drown in emails, endless meetings, trivial errands, and shallow conversations, leaving little room for the tasks that truly move the needle. The wise learn to identify their 20% and focus relentlessly on it. This requires courage. Saying yes to what matters often means saying no to what doesn't. And no is a word many struggle to use. We fear disappointing others, missing opportunities, or being judged as selfish. But every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are automatically saying no to something important. Time is finite. It cannot be stretched. Your yes has power, and so does your no. Learning to guard your calendar is one of the greatest acts of self-respect. Let's take an example. Suppose your dream is to write a book, yet you spend every evening scrolling through television channels or binge-watching shows. Those hours add up. Time that could have been invested in creating something meaningful vanishes into thin air. Now imagine dedicating those same hours to writing. A page a day, 365 pages a year. That's not just a book, that's a dream realized. The choice is simple, yet life-changing. Entertainment or creation, distraction or legacy. When you look at the world's most fulfilled individuals, you will notice a common trait. They are selective with their time. They guard their focus like treasure. They refuse to dilute their energy on things that don't align with their vision. Steve Jobs once said, "Focusing is about saying no." He understood that excellence is not about doing more, but about doing less of the irrelevant. The more you eliminate, the more room you create for what truly matters. But how do you decide what matters most? Start by identifying your core values. These are the principles that define who you are and who you want to become. Is health important to you? Then invest time daily in exercise and nutrition. Do you value knowledge? Then carve out time to read and learn. Is family your priority? Then guard your evenings for them. Without aligning your actions with your values, life becomes a contradiction, busy yet unfulfilled. Once you know your values, set clear goals that reflect them. A goal acts like a filter. If an activity contributes to the goal, it deserves your time. If not, it's a distraction. For example, if financial freedom is a goal, then hours spent learning a new skill or growing your business are valuable. Hours wasted on gossip or unnecessary errands are not. Goals are like lighthouses. They keep you from drifting in the dark. Another tool is intentional planning. Each morning, ask yourself, what are 3 things I can do today that will bring the most value to my life? Not 30, not 10, just 3. This small exercise forces you to prioritize. It shifts your focus from what is urgent to what is truly impactful. Completing those 3 tasks daily compounds into extraordinary results over time. Remember, what matters is rarely urgent, and what is urgent rarely matters. A text message can wait, but your health cannot. Social media can wait, but building your dream cannot. Distractions scream loudly, but your true calling often whispers. To hear it, you must silence the noise and give yourself the gift of focus. Choosing what really matters also means being present. You may decide that family is your priority, but if you spend dinner scrolling through your phone, you are not truly there. Presence is the purest form of investing time. It transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. The people around you don't just want your hours, they want your attention, your focus, your heart. Choosing what matters means giving them exactly that. The greatest trap of our generation is comparison. We waste hours trying to keep up with others, measuring our worth against their highlight reels. But life is not about doing what everyone else is doing. It is about doing what matters to you. Comparison is a thief of time, stealing joy and direction. The sooner you stop running someone else's race, the sooner you can win your own. One of the simplest yet most profound ways to choose what matters is to imagine your last day on earth. If today were your final day, what would you regret? Would you regret not answering enough emails, not gaining more followers? Or would you regret not pursuing your passion, not loving deeply, not spending time with those that mattered? That reflection will quickly reveal your true priorities. When you align your time with what matters, life becomes lighter. You stop carrying the weight of unnecessary obligations. You stop feeling stretched thin. Instead, you feel grounded, purposeful, fulfilled. Each day may not be easy, but it will be meaningful. You will go to bed knowing you lived intentionally, not accidentally. Here's the empowering truth. Every distraction you eliminate is not a loss, but a gain. Saying no to endless scrolling is saying yes to creation. Saying no to unnecessary commitments is saying yes to rest. Saying no to toxic relationships is saying yes to peace. Each choice reclaims your time and directs it toward what truly builds you. So take a moment and reflect. What really matters to you? What are the 3 or 4 things that, if nurtured, would make your life feel rich, purposeful, and fulfilled? Write them down. Let them become your compass. And every time a demand or distraction comes knocking, ask yourself, does this align with what truly matters? If not, let it go. Life is too short to waste on the trivial. Your hours are too precious to trade for things that don't add meaning. Choosing what really matters is not about doing more, but it is about doing less but better. It is about living intentionally, with clarity, with courage, because at the end of it all, your life will not be measured by how busy you were, but by how wisely you chose your battles, your priorities, your time. Make the choice today. Choose what really matters, and watch your life transform from chaos into clarity, from noise into purpose, from existence into impact. Chapter 3. Today's Habits, Tomorrow's Future. Your future is not written in the stars, it is written in your habits. Every small decision you make today, what you eat, how you spend your evenings, what you read, how you think, quietly shapes the person you will become tomorrow. We often dream of a brighter future, but the bridge between dreams and reality is built by daily habits. The truth is simple. Your habits today are creating your destiny tomorrow. Habits are powerful because they work silently. They don't make headlines in your life on day one. Eating healthy once won't change your body. And skipping one workout won't make you weak. But repeated over months and years, those tiny actions compound into massive results. That's the magic of habits. They multiply their impact over time, either for your success or for your downfall. Consider this. A person who spends 30 minutes a day reading will complete dozens of books in a year. Another person who spends that same time scrolling endlessly on social media gains nothing but wasted hours. After one day, the difference is invisible. After a year, the reader is wiser, sharper, and more confident, while the scroller is stagnant. After 5 years, the gap between them is enormous. Habits may appear small, but they are seeds that grow into forests. Think of your habits as investments. Just like money grows when invested consistently, your habits accumulate interest. Positive habits pay you compound dividends in health, wealth, knowledge, and relationships. Negative habits drain your account slowly until one day you realize you are bankrupt in energy, in time, in life. The choice is always yours. Will your habits be assets or liabilities? One of the reasons habits are so powerful is that they shape identity. When you exercise daily, you don't just build muscles, you build the identity of someone who values health. When you write daily, you don't just create words, you create the identity of a writer. Habits are not just actions, they are votes you cast for the type of person you want to become. Every action is saying, "This is who I am." Over time, your identity follows your habits. But here's the catch. Bad habits are easier to form and harder to break. They feel good in the moment, but cost you dearly in the long run. Junk food satisfies your taste buds, but robs you of health. Gossip entertains but poisons relationships. Procrastination soothes your fears but steals your dreams. Good habits, on the other hand, are harder to build at first, but rewarding for life. That's why most people drift toward comfort and away from growth. The wise, however, choose discipline today for freedom tomorrow. If you want to know your future, take a hard look at your current routines. Your mornings, your evenings, your weekends, they are a mirror of where you are headed. If your mornings begin with chaos, your future will reflect it. If your evenings end with Netflix binges and wasted hours, don't expect a tomorrow filled with achievement. Success is not a secret. It is the result of consistent, disciplined habits practiced when no one is watching. Great achievers in history understood this. Athletes don't wait until the day of the competition to prepare. They win in their daily practice. Entrepreneurs don't wait for luck. They grind every day to build their businesses. Writers don't wait for inspiration. They write daily even when the words are hard. Their habits create momentum, and that momentum builds empires. The world sees their glory, but it is their invisible habits that built the foundation. So how do you build habits that transform your future? Start small. Many people fail because they attempt massive changes overnight. They decide to overhaul their life in one day. Exercise 2 hours daily, eat perfectly, meditate, read, wake up at 5 a.m. The weight of such unrealistic expectations crushes them within a week. Habits are like bricks. You don't build a house with one giant brick, but with small, steady ones placed daily. For example, if you want to read, start with 10 minutes a day. If you want to exercise, begin with 10 push-ups. If you want to write, commit to 1 page. The goal is not intensity, but consistency. Over time, consistency turns into rhythm, and rhythm turns into mastery. What begins as effort eventually becomes automatic. That's the beauty of habits. They transform hard work into second nature. Another key is environment. Your surroundings influence your habits more than willpower does. If you keep junk food at home, you will eat it. If you keep your phone by your bed, you will scroll. If you surround yourself with people who waste time, you will too. But if you design your environment for success, healthy food in the kitchen, books on your desk, a supportive community around you, you make good habits inevitable and bad habits difficult. Tracking your progress also matters. When you check off a workout, a reading session, or a completed task, you reinforce your identity. Each tick mark is proof that you are becoming the person you want to be. Success is addictive when you can see it grow. The satisfaction of progress is one of the strongest fuels for habit formation. Breaking bad habits requires strategy too. Don't just try to stop, replace. If you want to quit late-night scrolling, replace it with reading before bed. If you want to cut junk food, replace it with fruits. Habits are easier to shift than to eliminate. Every time you remove a negative habit, replace it with a positive one that supports your values and goals. But above all, habits demand patience. We live in a culture addicted to instant results. People want six-pack abs in 6 weeks, wealth in 6 months, and mastery in 6 days. But habits don't work that way. They are slow, steady builders. Their results are invisible at first, but unstoppable in the long run. The winners are those who keep going when progress is hidden. Think of bamboo. For years, the bamboo plant shows no visible growth above the soil. It spends its time building roots underground, unseen. Then in one season, it shoots up rapidly, growing feet within weeks. Habits are the same. You may not see results in the beginning, but beneath the surface, roots are forming. Stay consistent, and one day breakthrough comes suddenly. Your future will thank you for the habits you build today. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. If you spend 10 minutes daily exercising, your body will be stronger, healthier, and more resilient. If you spend 30 minutes daily learning, your mind will be sharper, wiser, and more valuable. If you spend quality time daily nurturing relationships, your bonds will be deeper and richer. On the other hand, if you neglect these habits, your future self will carry the weight of regret. Habits also protect you in hard times. When motivation fades, and it will, habits keep you moving. Motivation is like a spark. Habits are like the engine. The spark may start the fire, but it is the engine that keeps the car running for the long journey. That's why successful people don't rely on moods or feelings. They rely on systems and habits that carry them through both highs and lows. So ask yourself today, what habits are shaping my future? Are they leading me toward growth or decline? Are they strengthening me or weakening me? Remember, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. Goals give direction, but habits build the path. Without them, dreams remain dreams. The choice is in your hands. Build habits today that align with the life you want tomorrow. Don't underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They may look ordinary, but they carry extraordinary potential. Success is not built in a day, but it is built daily. Your future is waiting, and it is shaped not by luck, not by chance, but by the habits you choose right now. So start small, stay consistent, guard your environment, and trust the process. Because one day, when you look back, you will realize that the future you dreamed of was not a miracle. It was simply the harvest of seeds sown through your daily habits. Today's habits, tomorrow's future. Chapter 4. Investing time in relationships. If time is the most valuable currency we own, then relationships are among the wisest places to invest it. Money may build comfort, but relationships build meaning. Wealth may give you freedom, but people give you joy, love, and belonging. When the chapters of life close, what we remember most are not the bank balances or titles we held, but the moments we shared, the connections we nurtured, and the lives we touched. Relationships are not built with grand gestures alone. They are built with consistent, intentional investments of time. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to believe productivity is everything. We chase deadlines, hustle endlessly, and pour hours into work, believing success will make us happy. But success without connection feels empty. What use is climbing a ladder if there's no one at the top to celebrate with? What good is wealth if there's no hand to hold when the storms of life arrive? Investing time in relationships ensures that while we build achievements, we also build a life worth living. Think of relationships like gardens. They don't flourish by accident. If you ignore them, they wither. If you water them regularly, nurture them, and give them sunlight, they grow beautifully. The same principle applies to people. A few intentional minutes with a loved one can mean more than hours of distracted presence. Consistency matters more than quantity. It is not about how much time you have, but how deeply you give yourself in the time you do spend. Relationships also require presence. In today's digital age, we may be physically present, yet mentally absent. Sitting with family while scrolling through phones, or half listening to friends while our mind races elsewhere, is not investment. It's negligence disguised as company. Real investment means putting aside distractions and being fully there. To look someone in the eye, to listen without judgment, to give your attention wholeheartedly. These simple acts are deposits of time that yield priceless returns. One of the greatest truths about relationships is that they multiply joy and divide pain. A victory shared feels sweeter. A burden shared feels lighter. When you invest time in others, you are building a safety net for your own life. In times of success, you'll have people to celebrate with. In times of failure, you'll have shoulders to lean on. No amount of wealth can buy that. Time is the price, and the reward is love, loyalty, and support. Many people, however, postpone their relationships. They say, "I'll spend more time with my family once I'm successful," or "I'll call my friend when life slows down." But life rarely slows down. Days turn into years, and the opportunities to connect fade. Children grow, parents age, friends drift. Time wasted on relationships is gone forever. The wise do not wait for the perfect moment, they create it now. Because tomorrow is never guaranteed, but today is always available. Consider the regrets of those at the end of life. Studies show that people rarely regret not working harder. Instead, they regret not spending enough time with the people they loved. They regret missed dinners, ignored phone calls, broken promises. These regrets are not about money lost, they are about moments lost. Every moment you invest in relationships is insurance against such regret. Investing in relationships is not only about family. It includes friendships, mentorships, and professional networks. A strong circle of genuine connections can open doors, provide guidance, and inspire growth. Opportunities often flow through people, not systems. A conversation may spark a breakthrough. A mentor's advice may save years of mistakes. A friend's encouragement may reignite your courage. But these gifts only come when you invest the time to build and maintain those connections. Of course, not every relationship deserves your time. Some people uplift you, while others drain you. Some encourage your growth, while others chain you to negativity. Investing wisely means discerning where your time yields growth. Pouring time into toxic relationships is like watering weeds. It only spreads damage. Instead, focus your time on those who inspire, support, and align with your values. The right relationships don't just add happiness, they multiply it. The quality of your life is often measured by the quality of your relationships. You may achieve great success, but without people to share it with, it feels hollow. On the other hand, even in hardship, strong relationships can make life rich and meaningful. When you invest time in people, you are not just building connections, you are building resilience, joy, and purpose. Small acts often carry the most weight. A quick phone call to check in, a handwritten note, an evening walk with a spouse, or taking time to listen to a friend. These may seem simple, but they are powerful. They say, "You matter to me. I value you enough to give me my most precious resource, my time." Over the years, these small acts accumulate into bonds unbreakable by distance or difficulty. Remember also that relationships are two-way streets. Just as you invest time in others, others invest time in you. To receive, you must also give. Reciprocity builds trust, while one-sided neglect builds resentment. The more intentional you are with your investments, the stronger your returns will be. Treat every relationship as a partnership where both sides contribute, grow, and support each other. Technology has made it easier than ever to stay connected. Yet loneliness is at an all-time high. Why? Because connection requires depth, not just contact. A like on social media is not the same as a heartfelt conversation. A forwarded message cannot replace a genuine call. Don't let convenience replace connection. Use technology to bridge distances, but never let it substitute for true investment of time and attention. When you choose to invest in relationships, you are also investing in your own character. Patience, empathy, kindness, and forgiveness are all strengthened in the process. These qualities make you not just a better partner, parent, or friend, but also a better human being. Relationships refine us, stretch us, and help us grow beyond ourselves. They are classrooms where we learn the art of love, sacrifice, and humility. So, how do you start investing time in relationships today? Begin with presence. Be fully there in the moments you share. Next, prioritize. Decide who matters most and make them your focus. Then communicate. Don't just wait for opportunities to connect. Create them. Call, visit, write, show up, and be consistent. Relationships thrive on steady, reliable investment, not occasional bursts. Ask yourself today, who are the people that truly matter to me? Have I invested enough time in them, or have I been too distracted by other pursuits? If the answer hurts, let it inspire action. Pick up the phone, plan a meeting, share a meal. Don't wait for the right time, make the time. Because in the end, the truest measure of a life well lived is not in what you achieved, but in whom you loved and how deeply you loved them. Relationships are the greatest return on investment your time will ever yield. They turn ordinary days into meaningful ones, struggles into shared journeys, and victories into celebrations. When you give your time to people, you are planting seeds of love and connection that will outlast you. That is the kind of investment that compounds into legacy. So guard your hours, but don't hoard them. Spend them generously on the people that matter most. Let your time be a gift that builds bonds, heals wounds, and creates memories. Because at the end of it all, the cars, the houses, the titles all fade. What remains are the people whose lives you touched with the time you gave. That is true wealth, and that is the power of investing time in relationships. Chapter 5. Building a Legacy with Time. Every human being is born with the same raw material, time. But not everyone transforms that material into something lasting. Most people live day by day, surviving, chasing temporary pleasures and waiting for life to happen. A few, however, choose differently. They see time not only as hours to spend, but as an opportunity to create impact. These individuals leave behind something that outlives them, a legacy. The truth is, your legacy is not built in a single grand act. It is built piece by piece, moment by moment, through the way you invest your time. Legacy is not about wealth or fame. Money fades, fame dies, and possessions decay. Legacy is about the fingerprints you leave on the lives of others. It is about the stories people tell when your name is mentioned, the values that echo in generations after you, and the difference you made while you were here. Whether you realize it or not, you are building your legacy every day, with every decision, every word, every use of your time. Many people think legacy belongs only to great leaders, inventors, or historical figures. But legacy is not reserved for the extraordinary. It is written by ordinary people making intentional choices. A teacher who invests time in her students builds a legacy of knowledge. A parent who spends evenings guiding and loving his children builds a legacy of values. A friend who listens, encourages, and supports builds a legacy of kindness. You don't need a spotlight to leave an impact. You need consistency and intention. Time and legacy are inseparable because time is the material of memory. What people remember about you is shaped by how you gave your hours. Did you give your time generously or guard it selfishly? Did you use your hours to uplift or to tear down? Did you spend them chasing only your own comfort, or did you invest them in something larger than yourself? These questions determine whether your story ends at the grave or continues long after. Think of the people whose names echo through history. Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela. None of them became immortal through wealth. Their immortality came from how they invested their time for others. King gave his time to justice, Teresa to compassion, Mandela to freedom. Their lives remind us that legacy is not about duration, but direction. Some live long yet leave no mark. Others live shorter lives, yet impact the world forever. But legacy does not always have to be global. Sometimes the most profound legacies are personal. A grandfather's stories may shape the imagination of a child. A mother's sacrifices may teach resilience for generations. A mentor's encouragement may inspire a student to pursue greatness. These legacies may never appear in history books, but they shape the fabric of families and communities in ways money never could. To build a legacy with your time, you must first decide what values you want to pass on. Legacy is intentional. It does not appear by accident. Ask yourself, what do I want to be remembered for? What principles do I want my children, my friends, my colleagues to carry forward? Do I want to be remembered for my generosity, my integrity, my faith, my creativity, my courage? Once your values are clear, align your daily time investments with them. For example, if you want to be remembered as someone who cared, then spend time caring. Visit the sick, encourage the discouraged, be present for the people who matter. If you want to be remembered for excellence, then use your hours to master your craft, to work diligently, to pursue quality. If you want to be remembered as a person of faith, then invest time in prayer, service, and kindness. Legacy is not built by wishes, it is built by repeated choices of how you use your hours. Another key to building a legacy is contribution. Ask yourself, am I giving more than I am taking? The world measures greatness not by what you consumed, but by what you contributed. If you hoard your time only for yourself, your story ends with you. But when you share your time to mentor, to serve, to create, your story continues in the lives of others. Contribution is the seed of legacy, and time is the soil where that seed grows. Legacy also requires courage. The world often pressures us to spend our time chasing shallow things, status, possessions, appearances. To build a legacy, you must resist the pressure to conform and choose to pursue what truly matters, even if it costs you popularity or comfort. Great legacies are not built by convenience, but by conviction. They are born when people dare to invest their hours in purpose instead of pleasure. And let us not forget, legacy is not only about the end of life, it is about how you live each day. Too many people postpone their legacy thinking, someday I will make a difference, someday I will serve, someday I will give back. But someday never comes. Legacy is not written in the future. It is written in today's choices. Every day you wake up, you add another line to the story you will be remembered by. The question is, what story are you writing? Practical steps can guide you. Begin by identifying the relationships and causes worth your time. Ask yourself, who needs you most right now? Start small. A word of encouragement, a few minutes of listening, a habit of serving. Over time, these small investments accumulate into a powerful impact. Legacy is not one grand act, but thousands of small acts strung together with love, consistency, and purpose. Legacy is also about creating something that outlives you. A book you write, a song you compose, a business you build, a foundation you start. These are time investments that keep giving even after you're gone. Your ideas, your work, your creations are carriers of your spirit into the future. They speak when you can no longer speak. They move when you can no longer move. That is the beauty of investing time in creation. It echoes beyond your years. Ask yourself honestly, if today were your last day, what would remain of you tomorrow? Would there be stories of kindness told at dinner tables? Would there be lessons repeated by your children to their children? Would there be work you left behind that inspires others? Or would there only be silence because you spent your hours on yourself alone? The thought is sobering, but it awakens the urgency of now. Building a legacy with time also means living with gratitude. When you treat each day as a gift, you naturally want to use it wisely. Gratitude shifts your focus from, "I'll do it later," to, "I must do it now." It transforms ordinary days into opportunities to invest in something eternal. A grateful heart never wastes time because it sees every moment as a chance to build meaning. Ultimately, legacy is love. It is not about being remembered for power, possessions, or perfection. It is about being remembered for how well you loved, with your time, your presence, your actions. Did you love your family enough to give them your attention? Did you love your community enough to serve it? Did you love humanity enough to contribute your talents? Love expressed through time is the greatest legacy you can ever leave. So let this chapter be your call to action. Stop postponing the life you are meant to live. Stop waiting for tomorrow to start building something that lasts. Your time is your tool, your paintbrush, your hammer, your seed. Use it to build, to create, to inspire. Use it to leave the world a little better than you found it. Because when your days are over, people will not measure your life by how long you lived, but by how well you lived. They will not remember the hours you had, but how you invested them. They will not care about what you owned, but about how you loved, taught, and inspired. That is legacy. That is the gift of time well spent. So live today as though your legacy depends on it, because it does.
Conclusion. Time is the most precious asset you will ever own, more valuable than money, fame, or possessions. Once it's gone, you can never get it back. You've just learned strategies, mindsets, and tools to manage and multiply the value of your time. Now it's your turn to act. Don't let this book just be words you read. Let it be the turning point of your life. Start small, but start today. Choose one area of your life where you've been wasting time and make a firm decision to change it. Create a daily plan. Invest every hour into actions that bring you closer to your dreams. Review regularly. Reflect weekly to ensure you're moving forward, not standing still. Remember, every moment you invest wisely compounds, just like money does. The difference between a successful and an average life comes down to how you spend your minutes, not just your years. The clock is ticking. Make the decision right now to be intentional with your time, because the best investment you can ever make is in yourself and your future.